Hey everyone, Tilikum C4 Vet here. Wanted to give you guys an update on Tilikum, Project Tilikum. We have not really made a lot of progress really since we've done the install of the 24X Torqhead system. So I wanted to update you guys on that and really produce more videos for the channel. It doesn't make sense to have a YouTube channel with only 2 videos. So this is going to try to be as brief and quick as possible, but basically the bottom line with the car is I have not been able to get it running reliably enough to actually go drive it and enjoy it, and I find it very, very frustrating. Now, I wouldn't say that's 24X, the Torqhead 24X system's fault, but a lot of it comes to when you have a heavily modified car, especially something that's over 20 years old. You're going to have a lot of issues with it. So that being said, I went with a tuner that people recommended here in Texas, and I went with the route of doing a remote tune. Now, I would strictly and highly recommend, if you are deciding on the 24X Torqhead unit and Torqhead system, and for something for our Corvette, not maybe one of the other cars, but for something with a Corvette, I would strongly recommend going and getting a dyno tuned and giving it to someone and putting it in their hands instead of your own, unless you know what you're doing. I obviously, with a lot of things, don't know what I'm doing, but I'm smart enough that I knew how to run the system. I'm using HP tuners. I bought their whole kit, and pretty much with that, I sent it away to get the tunes, got everything recorded, had some issues and still having issues with getting the AFR gauge to communicate with HP tuners and do it accurately. I've had people with HP tuners and everything tell me it's possible, and then I've had others that says that particular unit it's not possible. So you can kind of see my frustration here trying to get the AFR to match with the actual tune so that I can upload that to the tuner and he can tune accordingly. But regardless, the tunes I've been getting back are pretty much subpar just to get the car running, which I don't really understand from this gentleman in South Texas. But now I'm looking at another tuner. I have another gentleman who's willing to look at the car and do some work with it. We will see. His available is very thin. A lot of these tuners, one of the main things I find is, one, they don't want to do it unless they're doing the whole thing, or their availability to tune the vehicle is very, very thin, which makes sense. They want to spend the money and spend their time on the $100,000 plus cars. They don't want to waste your time or waste their time with something that you're not going to be giving them $100,000 to go tune a car. So that being said, that's kind of where I'm at, and it's pretty unfortunate. It's been about 6 months now, and partly doesn't necessarily have to do with Tilikum, but just my work schedule and everything else, and the time that I've been putting into it. I spent a lot of time putting and doing the install and modifying it and working with the guys at Torqhead, and then we had some issues, really, I think more on the car side of the spark plugs I've had ever since I originally tuned the vehicle, and it was on the base tune and everything else, so they were pretty fouled up. Decided to buy all new ones, and unfortunately, like I said, even with the new spark plugs, pretty much everything on this car is new. With all that being said and done, still not able to drive the car is a little frustrating. So that's pretty much it for right now. I am going to be working on my goal this year. Literally, I wrote it down, is to get this car tuned and get it drivable. After that, we'll see what happens. Whether I like it or not, I might move on to another project. But really, I want to get this car tuned. I want to make it, my whole goal is to have the car be able to go race it and take it to the track. And unfortunately, the car, ever since I've done the full rebuild and everything else, the car's never made it there. So that's where we're at. And I hope I have something more to show you guys other than just a sitting vehicle. But hopefully, keep your fingers crossed, and we'll get Tilikum up and running here within the next couple months. All right, thanks, guys. I hope everyone had a great holidays, and hope to talk to you guys soon. Thanks.